Hey, this is Bill Hauser, CEO of the S&B team, and in this interview I had with JJ the CPA, oh my gosh, you're gonna get all the secrets you need to go from 0 to almost 60,000 YouTube subscribers for your business, for your personal channel, whatever it is, from scratch with no budget, okay? He's gonna show you the number one key to building YouTube momentum in this interview, okay? He's gonna show you how to figure out what your audience really wants rather than what you think you're an expert in. And then last but not least, he's gonna explain what's more important, volume of video content or quality of video content. And if you stick through to the end, you're gonna learn how he does newsjacking to make sure videos go viral on his channel with breaking news topics. So I'll see you in the interview. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like what we're putting out, and hit that like button, and then comment below with anything you learn so that you create that mind neural connection so you actually implement what you learn from this video. And I'll see you in the interview with JJ the CPA. Stay great. My question to you first is, looking back on the getting started phase, what was most important for you to stick through? And what did you need to have set up in the initial stages when you had 0 subscribers?
Well, you know what it takes is the mindset that you've got to be consistent, post every day. So on social media, besides the YouTube, we did 3 posts every single day on every single social media outlet and did 1 video every single day. And so it was consistency. And Bill, we started this process in May of 2018. And what it was is being there at the right time. But you know, when people say you got to be there at the right time, you know, everything was timing. Well, what it was is that when we hit the pandemic, my videos they've already been coming out, already had a social media presence. It was okay compared to now, but I was then seen as a trustworthy source of information because initially I was just putting out these videos when the world shut down, just really for my clients. I kind of went away from thumbnails and all the sexiness that maybe attracts somebody to your channel and really focused in on content to help really only my client. And so my point is when the opportunity came, which was at a tragedy, and I wasn't looking for that opportunity, I was ready. My channel was ready. I'd already written a book. I already had a song on iTunes. I already had a logo and a consistent approach. So when people were looking at me, they saw, well, this person's been around for a while and has been consistent. So this is a trustworthy source, which for attorneys and CPAs, but for attorneys especially, it's that trust factor.
What a great point. Because it was an overnight success. You had already done quite a few things. You've already written books. You had evergreen content that people could fact check you on. And you have this amazing brand name, JJ the CPA. It is the best name I have ever heard ever on any YouTube channel. I mean, it is literally hardwired into my subconscious. Like, I take a shower and I think JJ the CPA. Like, it's just hardwired in me. Let's talk about that really quickly, because that tagline is as good as it gets. So did that come to you just like walking down the sidewalk, or was it like designed name that you went through a lot of contemplation to choose?
Well, a client coined me JJ the CPA, and I'm Joshua Jensen CPA. And over time, I started to be called JJ just kind of for short. And I work with attorneys more than any other client. Probably of my client list, 50% are attorneys. And so with attorneys, bringing some excitement, bringing trust. The attorneys are similar to CPAs in the sense that they want somebody that's good. And so anyways, I had been going by JJ really as a nickname over time. And I had put together a plan for this attorney group, and we were going to change them from one structure to another. And they had a settlement coming in, et cetera. And it was literally going to save them $1 million, literally that year. And one of the partners, when we were done, stood up and started clapping, and he just came out with JJ the CPA, and it just took from there. So it was a great friend. So very much like attorneys, I have only my reputation and I've got to protect it. And so I understand that with attorneys, they are concerned about going online and putting any information out there that would then be somehow held against them. So where I always stop in my content, and maybe not as much now because I'm really wanting to make sure I'm helping people, but with my content, I'm providing it not so much to inform, but to help, so that when somebody's watching it, I'm solving somebody's problem. And on YouTube, especially, people go on YouTube because they want to know, well, how do I do this? Where do I go? So I don't need to provide, go to line 13, here's the phase out. And I don't have big disclosures on it other than the body of my email. And I always press upon find a professional in your area. And I think that with attorneys, as competitive as they are, the amount of money that they spend on advertising, this right now is free. So I'm not saying you shouldn't spend money on these other things, but having a consistent presence that is helping people, solving problems, and especially for attorneys that are unfortunately seen as maybe not as trustworthy, which I find terrible because I think attorneys are my best friends and the most honorable people. They're there to uphold the law. And so I think by having a presence of helping and not worrying about, because I think this is a little silly, to be honest with you, those that are trying to brand themselves, maybe even locally, and they're worried about their competition locally. What I want you to think through is social media is everywhere. And if you have a presence everywhere, that's going to outbeat any local competition by having a presence everywhere. So I think that's the other part is, so I've talked with attorneys about going on YouTube. Bill, right now, you know what is hot? You know what people want is you throw a camera in front of your face and you provide some good information. They don't want graphics. They don't want you to be all slick. They don't want a song. I mean, I'll tell you this, Bill, I went from having some of that stuff as my numbers went like this. And then the more I had some of that, it kind of went like this. It was kind of like, this isn't like, what is this? You know, it's not as trustworthy. I had a little rap song and logo going all over the place. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going back to here it is. And the ahs and the ums and thinking for a second and all that, that's what makes it genuine. And so there's just no excuse, Bill, like you said, there's no excuse to get on there and just be yourself. And then the other thing I'll just mention to you as a CPA, there are times I got to go and take a video down because the law changed. But that's the other great thing with YouTube is if you know something's changed or is outdated, you just go make it inactive to make sure that your content is always within the law.
Curious to hear your beliefs around volume as a key commitment or quality of content as a key commitment.
The approach we took probably wasn't as well thought out as you're bringing to the table here, but Amanda, who is been the one that's been by my side with all of this, we went with the approach of we've got to put a volume amount of information because it will be the consumer that will then tell you what is actually resonating with them. And so volume was, well, we put something out morning, noon, and afternoon. And then we started tweaking because we saw, well, if it came out at this time for this kind of consumer. And then we saw that, well, no one really is connecting with this. So we don't need to do as much of that. And then my point is that you're then making it more effective. And so it does require on social media time. But if you just looked at it as this, I mean, if an attorney got one case and they were able to put some information out there and over time, they got one case from a video they put out 5 years ago because they put some information out there. They saw that it was resonating. Then it's going to resonate, especially on YouTube, years and years to come. And with the law profession, you know, it's not as fast moving in terms of changing all the time like with the CPA industry. And it was somebody that solved one issue. And so I think the other thing I would say for attorneys is no one wants to watch a video on how to do a consultation, which is a great way. And I'm piggybacking on what you said. They'd want to know if the law practice or insurance company calls me, what do I do? What do I need to look for? All of that by providing that help is going to help that person. And yes, you might be practicing in Texas and somebody watching it is in New Jersey, but here's the thing. And I say this humbly. I have, almost 54,000 subscribers. I don't know the number of them are CPAs, but it is very humbling how many CPAs around the country now look to me, seek me out, come to my seminars. And it's because I've built this reputation. And I'll tell you, guess what my reputation is locally now? No one has a reputation like this. And the bottom line is that this competition now, in my opinion, is already beat before I even walk through the door because of the credibility this brings. So it's long-term, it's not going to be overnight, and it's consistent every day.
So my question to you is this: some of the videos that you've done most successful with is by capitalizing on trending topics that you can pull into your area of expertise, like PPP applications. First of all, how are you identifying what keywords you want to rank for? And how do you then optimize your videos to rank for those keywords when either it's a trending topic or someone actually goes and types something in on YouTube or on Google, and then the YouTube video pops up on page 1 of Google?
It does just require staying up with what is being asked. And the first thing that I started with, and here's where I think the magic has been different in my channel, and I know there are some others that are maybe getting more views than me and whatnot. And I think that's because they're approaching it differently. They're more just delivering the news sensationally related to all this, but I don't think it's going to last. I just listened to what my clients were asking, and then I solved those problems. And then what would be the key words my clients would be looking for, right? Because I'm working with the client. I'm listening to what their questions are. I'm listening to what their needs are. So yes, I didn't just do that. Then I went to Google, and quite frankly, I just started typing in, like PPP, and then it brings up automatically what are the top 10. I know there's services that also help with some of that, and you play around with it. And my point is that the advantage attorneys have, even over, let's say, CPAs, is that people in your industry or what your niche is are probably coming always with a similar problem or a similar need. And then you break down. This is then where the next step is. And it actually makes it easier, Bill. Okay, so somebody calls you and you have a consult. That's probably 20 videos because someone just wants to know, what do I bring to a meeting with an attorney? Boom. When I make an appointment with an attorney, how do I know I picked the right one? That's a video. So you're breaking down now that need, and then you're finding by simply going to Google and using as a guide, what are my clients asking me? What words are they asking me? Fortunately, as we got more popular, we started then paying attention to what were the comments, what were the questions in the comments. And so then the more that I was addressing the client's concerns, mine, and putting out videos that in essence, I was thinking through like, okay, well, if my clients have these concerns and my clients are asking me this, then I should do a video related to it. And then also paying attention to what is being looked at. And here's the beauty with social media. You're going to know, okay, that worked because you got 20,000 views. You got 2,500 subscribers. There's not quite the guess of, did somebody see my billboard? Still think all of that is important. You'll notice too, I was a little hesitant until probably a couple of months ago, but when you look at the body of my video now, it's basically a bunch of keywords, like out the yin yang keywords. And I have a website where to contact me. But you know what's crazy about this is when I first started doing this, in the body of the video, I provided a full explanation of the video, where to go in the video. Here's a playlist on this. Here's a playlist. And I'd spend so much time. No one paid attention to that because they saw it all in the body of it is just another sale. And what people actually just want to know is, what is this about? And so having a bunch of keywords in there also solved, believe it or not, when people went to the video and then they're like, was this a video apply to me? And they click on it and they just see a lot of keyword, it's what this video is about and then a bunch of keywords. That actually helped people know, okay, so this is what it is. And then the next step, Bill, was then I would always put in there, well, here's all the topics that I'm providing information on. So this is the beauty with attorneys is, you're there to solve a need already. People come to attorneys for what? To solve some kind of problem.